All right. Um, Good morning. So today is the last day for the second week, day three. It has to do with so all through this week we've been looking at introduction to Matplot Lib Seaborn. So today we want to have a collaboration of um Matplot and Seaborn. So I titled this talk to be Advanced Visual Storytelling with Matplot and Seaborn, right? So why combine Matplotlib and Seaborn? While Seaborn provides high-level statistics graphics, Matplotlib offers what fine control over several aspects of the visualization. Remember, we talked about um, how Matplotlib differs from Seaborn, right? So we also said that Seaborn itself was built on top of Matplotlib. So what are we trying to say in essence? Seaborn, what it does specifically is to do what? To provide a high-level statistical graphics. So when you need a high-level statistical graphics, just like when you take a picture and then you give it taking a picture could be uh uh the work of a matplotlib. So it generates the visualization. Not that the other guy cannot do it, but this guy, matplotlib, will generate it. And then to give it that high statistical touches, it should be the work of the Seaborn, right? So the Seaborn would do that. So combining both allows us to create detailed and aesthetical pleasing data visualizations. So imagine when we have this guy, Matplotlib, doing its job, and Seaborn as well doing its job. You'll see that these two guys together will give us what? An aesthetic data visualizations. So enough of the talk. We've done a whole lot of work all through the week, right? So let's just see how these two guys will let's see how these two guys will work out for us. So let's go. First, we have to import um the necessary libraries first. So that's what I'm doing. And then on second note, you load the data. So now remember, then we made use of iris data. That was 3 days ago, the last video rather. Yeah. So we made use of iris data, which was an inbuilt data in Seaborn, right? So today we are going to make use of tips data, tips. So these tips, what it does is that it gives what data set about restaurants tip. So we load the data. When we load it, we can view it to see. So we see total bill, and we see the tip, right? We see sex, male or female, smoker. Is the person a smoker or not? The day, the person turned in, the time, and then the size of what he or she bought. Then creating a multi-plot. So a multi-plot figure. So here we want to create a multi-plot figure using matplotlib subplot. We can combine multiple plots in a single figure for better storytelling. So we can have more than one plot in a single figure. By so doing it, it tells more story than we expect, right? So we'll run this guy, and then here is a code. So let's look at the visualization this guy is going to generate for us. So we have total bill distribution by day. We are taking the total bill by with respect to day. So you see how it differs. So here you can see that on a Saturday we had um more bills. Did we actually have more bills? Yeah, because of this outliers here. So it can project that we had more bills. But when we curtail some of these outliers, outrageous guys, here we had two outliers, here we had about three, one, and then I think here we are about five outliers. People that bought far beyond what other people could afford. Then we have a scatter plot of tips versus total bill as well. So the tips that ranges from, I think it ranges from 1 point something. So you will have it here for Monday. You see the color code. Sorry, Thursday the color code is blue, Friday yellow, Saturday green, and Sunday is what? Red. So anyway, you see all of that to indicate where the day the person bought the day the tip was gotten, right? So let's try to see another subplot and then I will explain. Today's class is very, very, very brief. So now we'll be looking at this subplot now. Let me reduce the size of my guy. All right, great. So I have distribution of total bills, right? So I want to see how the total bill is statistically represented. Mind you, in all of this, we are making use of what? See, SNS histogram, SNS box plot, SNS bar plot, and SNS what? Scatter plot. And then we now have PLT. So remember, when we were importing, what did we do? We imported what? Seaborn as SNS. We imported Matplot as PLT, right? And then coming down here, we are making use of the two guys, right? So having done that, all of these guys, we still make use of what? The PLT. So let's look very closely. We'll see distribution. So we'll say that this guy is rightly distributed or positively distributed because it has a tail tilted towards what? The right. And then that's for the total bill. The total bill. So the highest bill was around, if this guy should be 10, 11, 10, let's say this guy should be around 15, 16, right? 15, 16 or 15, 18. Between 15 to 18, we had the highest frequency. People bought for that much around that area. And then total bill by day and gender. We have the this is total bill by day. And then but for the gender, we see the male, this is, if the male are not surpassing the female, yeah, it means there's something wrong with my code, right? So sorry, sorry for saying that actually. All right, so let's look at this. We have the male here, the total bill. Okay, somebody bought outrageously, bought 40 something, and then we had a female rare pair that's above or beyond the male, right? This is awesome. This is awesome. And then we have the male here. The maximum one was 40K dollars. And then here we had the female around 23, 24. Then same thing is applicable here, right? So we had outrageous purchase or bills for the guys. We had another one here. So I think on Thursday we had just one person that was able to buy far beyond what all the guys that they could afford. Okay, so we also see average tips per day, male and female. So the tip for male is far beyond that of female. So, but on Friday, I think Friday and Sunday we had a change in the pricing, a change, right? So it became that the female bought higher, or the female had higher tip than the male. So the same thing is applicable on this one. So basically what this implies is that at a glance, when you look at this, you have more information about what happened in those 4 days, right? And then you can be able to quickly understand with not by me looking at this thing and be like, okay, we can know who and who was able to purchase. We know who did not purchase. So customizing the dashboard for a professional look. Let's try to do this and see. So we can add a violin plot. So for total bill, a violin plot. On Thursday, the majority of the guys that were buying were around between $10 to $20, right? And on Friday, the same thing. On Saturday, it was the same thing, but it was at least closer to the $20 than Thursday and Friday. While on Sunday, I think we had more purchase tending beyond um um uh $20. And if you look at this guy, the time these guys came to buy, right? So on Thursday, I think majorly what was sold in that restaurant was what lunch, because if you look at it very closely, lunch. So there we barely could have a record of what those that got dinner that's Thursday. But on Friday we had lunch and dinner, right? We had lunch and dinner. So for the dinner guys, they bought far beyond this guy, far beyond $20, right? So if you look at this shape here, it's telling you where the distribution or where the data set is dense. So the area where we have more data points or more people purchasing what they should purchase. So on Saturday we didn't have lunch. On Sunday there was no lunch but dinner and dinner. So this actually brings us to the end of today's class. It should have been more of you doing the job, right? So you modify the dashboard to include heat map. So this, you modify it to include heat map and then create a similar multi-dash for being used data set, right? And the same thing should be done. You customize what the scatter plots using Matplot and advanced and enhance readability. Right, so that brings us to the end of today's class.